going on, guys? I'm JD from PerspectiveCaptured, and you've come to the right place where you can ask your questions and further your understanding or knowledge. This channel is about helping you, and therefore don't hesitate to ask questions down below.
Try not to hold me down, feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars out.
Today's conversation is about choosing your f-stop. Let's start by talking about any scene you can dream up. The one and only question you need to ask yourself is, what do you want the audience to see in the scene? What's in the background or foreground, and do you want your audience to see it? This is going to tell you what f-stop to choose. This is really a choice. Don't just go for a blown out background for every single shot, but use it to focus your audience's attention on what you want them to see, and not what they want or what their brain wants. To compare, the average full frame f-stop to the human eye is an f4, but can go down to as low as an f2 in low light conditions or an f8 in bright conditions. Take a look for yourself. Focus on something nice and close and pay attention to what's in the background and that background blur. How much of it can you see? It's only just a little bit fuzzy. Okay, so let's talk about some examples of when to use what aperture to get you on your way to making these decisions for yourself. Here's an opening scene to Law & Order where the cell phone is ringing. The cinematographer is using a wide open aperture to focus on the cell phone, and then there's a focus pull to Benson as she picks it up. Shortly after, they're in a crime scene where they may have wanted the audience to look around the room for themselves while the detectives are simply talking. This lets the audience get a feel for either the crime scene or the location that they're actually talking in. Then as they head outside, in the next scene, the aperture opens up a bit to blur out what is exactly going on in the background, but you can clearly see the police are actively walking around. So what's the answer? Well, there's never a wrong decision. Our field is a creative one. It really comes down to what you want the audience to see and how you want to go about doing that. Here's another example of how you can get the same results without using a wide open aperture. In the pilot episode of Breaking Bad, Hank has a gun and points it towards what's coming at him. No spoilers here, don't worry. But this shot is a perfect example of how to use negative space instead of aperture to have your audience look at what you want them to look at. Notice it's the sky behind him and some very bland desert rock, and therefore you don't have anything else to look at. This is an example where you can use a nice large depth of field, but can keep the audience's attention on where you want it. It's just another technique, and one that could have been shot on your kit lens. Thanks for watching. I hope this video will help you out when choosing and creating your scenes. Subscribe if you want to. It's always appreciated. And let's start a conversation down below. Type in your thoughts and dreams. It's always good to hear from you.
I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. Try